of this video is to shed light on Binghamton University graduate student working conditions, both the good and the bad.
We are a committee by students, of students, and for students. We care about you, your working life, your worries and concerns, because we're one of you.
Graduate students are central to all parts of the university's functioning. Graduate student employees work in instruction, administration, food services, and all areas of Binghamton University. And so we need for all graduate student employees to be valued as the central members of the community that they are.
We care about everything concerning our graduate student workers on campus. We want to know how you're doing on your position because we really want to improve your experience as a GA or TA.
Welcome Binghamton graduate students. This video on Binghamton graduate student working life is to share with you the reality of what our Binghamton graduate student workers face on a day-to-day basis here in their various working lives, both on and off campus here at Binghamton. We hope you enjoy this video.
Okay, so we're here filming with Jack, who is a fifth-year graduate student and about to graduate this semester.
Yes, I'm actually a second-year master's student. I'm about to graduate, but I've been in the area for about 5 years. I did my bachelor's degree at this university.
So how many different jobs have you had while being a graduate student here?
Being a graduate student, I've had 2 jobs, 3 jobs actually. The first job was as a research assistant. I worked for my professor, and it paid really well. I covered all of the tuition. I did what I liked the most, the area I'm very much interested in, and then I also worked as a bus driver for the OCCT here at the university, and I've also worked as an office manager for the graduate student organization for the past 4 months.
So what improvements, if any, would you make to the bus driver job that you had?
That bus driver job, it's a great starter job that you can have on campus. It pays all right, but some improvements would be definitely more respect and more appreciation of the bus drivers. There are certain difficulties that the bus drivers face, like some buses you have to there's this thing called exhaust fumes, and you have to breathe it in for extended hours, for extended periods of time. And some drivers, like including me, we have headaches doing that, for example. And it's not against the law apparently, but it's not good for your health to be breathing in fumes. That's just one of the examples. Some of the examples, you give your availability to the OCCT and they assign you blocks. And sometimes, even if you're not available at certain hours, let's say from 9 to 12 a.m. on Friday night, they still assign you blocks. And you have to drive those blocks in order to keep the job. Otherwise, you can lose your job. So those are just some things, but otherwise OCCT, it's been a great experience. The schedule is very flexible. You can give your availability, and let's say you can drive before 9 o'clock in the morning, and then go to your classes, do your thing. So it's a very flexible schedule, and it's an all right pay. Used to be $10 an hour 2 years ago, but now it's $9 an hour starting up. And then if you drive 15 hours a week, then it increases to by 25 cents a semester. So yeah.
Did you have to get a special license to have that job?
Oh yeah. For me, I had to train for about a semester actually, and it's about 10 hours of training. Actually, 9 hours of actual bus driving, and it's 1 hour of actual class where you have a lecture, you communicate, you learn the rules and how to behave on the road and stuff like that. But what you actually do is for the next 9 hours is just sit in front of the wheel and drive the buses. And 10 hours a week for about 3 months, probably not for about 3 months, and then you have an exam, and then you get your CDL license, and you can drive those huge trucks and stuff.
Were you paid while you were training?
No, actually it was a one-time thing. So let's say there's you were there for 12 weeks. That's 120 hours. You only got paid $150 for 120 hours there. It was a one-time $150 grant or whatever.
And how competitive is it to get that job?
Well, it's not very competitive because there were problems with it that they didn't have enough drivers. So at one point, 2 years ago, for example, the director himself had to drive the buses of the OCCT because they didn't have enough drivers. So they raised the salaries, and they are outreaching to the community to hire new drivers, and I think it's getting better.
Is there anything the management is doing about the drivers' concerns about breathing in the fumes?
Well, I'm graduating, so I gave my feedback to the new director, and his response was it's not against the law. So, that was his answer. I guess it's not against the law. So. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
How did you first got interested in, working in that?
For OCCT, it's very necessity. The tuition is it's big, especially for international students. Just the tuition itself can go up to over $16,000. It used to be like that. I think it's even more now. But just out of necessity, you need to have some cash flow. And at that time, when I first started driving, which was 3.5 years ago, it used to be the highest paying on-campus job.
Hey Jack, so you wanted to tell us a little bit more about student unions.
Right. Yes. One thing that I want to say about student unions is that a lot of students, they work really hard, and a lot of them they don't have a choice but just to work at any job that they get, or in any possibility, any opportunity that they can have, they will just go for that job. But at the same time, those students, they're working their butts off. They're working really hard to pay their tuition at the same time, to do well in school. And so people take advantage of that a lot, and I've experienced that myself. So I just would advise people to, for students to have some type of representation that's fully dedicated and just to represent their rights. And I think that would benefit both the student and overall the university.
Do we have that at Binghamton?
We do have some of it. We have, for example, the research assistants, graduate assistants, and a couple other
The teaching assistants.
teaching assistants. Yes, pretty much. Those two are represented at this point of time. But let's say if you work at a cafeteria, or if you drive buses, or there are plenty of jobs out there, or you work over the summer as a student guide, all of those, you don't have any representation. You work for a really small salary, and people, they take advantage of you sometimes. This world is not all that nice.
So how did that work? When did you get hired by NICE? How much are they paying for? Like, how can other students take advantage of that kind of agreement?
Well, it all depends on the company. Different companies have different policies, but like NICE, for example, they give $10,000 a year just for tuition expenses. That's not a lot, but when you're just taking one class, or let's say you're doing a master's degree in business administration in like 3-4 years, and then taking a couple classes a semester and not full time, that's plenty.
So when did you have that agreement with them? When did you?
Well, it's just part of the hiring package that you get.
So is this recent then? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh yeah.
When were you hired?
Yeah, I was hired like December 15th, 2014. So I've been with NICE for now almost 3 months. So yeah.
So they didn't pay for your whole degree. They just started helping you when you got hired.
Right. No, I was a research assistant before that, so that's how my tuition was covered. But now the company pays. So it's also when I was actually driving here, I'm like, I should register for more classes, and
With all the time you have.
well, once I finish this one, and once that high learning curve is over. I mean, at the beginning you gotta like push really hard and learn a lot, so that I heard someone say it's a ripple effect. You start really hard and really high, and the wave is gonna go really high up down the career. So it's like the first year. I think I'm just gonna be learning a lot, but then I definitely wanna take classes and just grow in other aspects.
So when are you expecting to graduate?
This May.
This May?
This May, yeah.
So it's just one last semester.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's like,
I don't think I'm going to be sad at all.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's like, like real life is overrated. Sometimes they say, like you pay all these expenses, like insurance. Oh, by the way, they don't give you free food. Like they pay you a big salary so that you buy your own food, so you don't get free food like here on campus.
Sodexo is one of the on-campus part-time jobs, and it offers many opportunities for the student in the Binghamton University to work here. And we can see people in the green t-shirts in the counters, in the moguls find the Indian cuisine.
Because I've never been.
Hi, I'm Avinash.
I'm Chetan. Hi.
So, you're working in Sodexo?
Yes, I'm working there.
Since when are you working here?
It's been 6 months for me now.
Oh, how do you feel it here?
It's been good because it's the first time I'm working on a campus.
Oh, is this your first on-campus job?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you think the managers about you? Do they treat you properly?
They're very well.
Are they rude or something like that?
No, they're really good. They treat me very well.
Okay. And how much do you get paid per hour?
It's $8 per hour. But from this January, the pay has been increased from 8.75.
8.7. Do you think is it sufficient for your monthly expenses?
Not actually, because I really don't get so much hours to work here. But if I could get actually 20 hours, that would be sufficient for me.
20 hours. So you can work only for 20 hours a week or a month?
Yes, or 20 hours a week.
Okay. And okay, how much do you get? Do you work 20 hours a week, or do you want to make up with the classes and both Sodexo?
It's difficult to work 20 hours a week, but I usually try and work for 10 to 12 hours a week so that I can manage with my studies.
So you get a good grades in your studies and you work in Sodexo. Keeping up well. Thank you for you.
What changes do you suggest management can do to help your fellow graduate student employees and yourself?
I would like to suggest that the management or the administration should work together with the Sodexo or other on-campus part-time job organizations. To make the students, to give them some free time for the students to work in the on-campus and keep up with the studies. And I would like to ask them to increase the pay for students, because they work it's a very tedious and laborious work, because I see many people working in other on-campus. They need to lift heavy objects, move the objects, and they're paying the same $8 per hour. And I would like to discuss this with the administration in the university and make changes to it.
And how are your benefits like for health care, the dental care? How does that work? How does that happen? Do they give you benefits on the job?
Okay. Actually, Sodexo organization, they give us insurance for the health, and dental and optical, they are not included in the insurance. But we have insurance from the college, our local university, so we don't bother about the insurance from the Sodexo organization. But they do give insurance from HCH worldwide, so that's good for the employees working full time. For the students and the full-time employees.
And when you first come and start in the job, do you find you have adequate training? Do you become familiar very quickly with what you have to do? How was your training like?
My first experience at Sodexo was I was trained for I think it's a week, and I don't think I became an expert within a week, but like working for the past 6 months made me an expert in the jobs like the cashier, the making coffees, or the working with the full-time employees and helping the managers. And I can handle an event. Suppose if there's any event going on and they ask me to organize it, I would be ready to organize the event and know what's the quantity amount of the food that should be served to the people, and I'll be doing great.
And do you suggest any different ways of training than the one you received? Do you think it should be changed, the way that training happens?
I suggest that the Sodexo employees should give us training regarding the working near the fire, working near the grill. And I have seen many students, they burn their hands and legs near the grill when they're working on the grill. They should not ask students to work near the grill, because if oil spills on your body and it burns, who is responsible for that? Is it university or the Sodexo? Nobody takes care of that. This is a major issue happening in the dining halls. This needs to be addressed.
Did anybody raise this with management, that there were these burns happening and students were hurting themselves on the grill? Did anybody mention or bring that up?
Yeah, there are some of my friends who came up to me and discussed with me, and we went to the management and talked to them regarding this. And they said, if you want to work on campus, there are many other on-campus jobs. You can leave this tedious job and go search for other jobs. And this was the answer they gave me, and I was shocked, because they should take care of the employees who are working with them, and they don't give a thing about it.
And what has been your working relationship like with your fellow student employees? How do you work together, as a team, or are you more individual? What's working life like with fellow graduate students here on campus?
Working for 20 hours a week is a bit tedious according to me. But I didn't find it tedious, because I work as a team with my friends. The place where we work, we're a team of 20 members, and we would always talk to each other in between the work, and we really find fun loving each other, and I find it good. I don't think this is the same thing happening in other places like the marketplace and other dining halls. I think the event center is one of the good places to be working with other students. There are a group of 20 students working with you, and they always share their experiences, and you'll know the job.
And your working relationship with the management, how is that like?
There are very few people in the Sodexo organization in the university who are good to the students. In the sense that when you want to make up some hours during the holidays, they will certainly give you some hours to work. But there are some managers like whom I work under. They don't really care about that, and it actually depends varies from person to person. It's not upon the Sodexo employee, or depends. As a student manager, what I suggest is that student manager position should not be given to a student, because he doesn't have the enough experience to train the students under him. So I suggest that management should look into the giving positions to the full-time employees instead of giving to the students as the student managers. That's what I suggest them.
So today we're very happy to have Claire with us. Thank you for coming here. Tell us something about your work. Where do you work, and what exactly do you do there?
Okay, first of all, I am a first year graduate student in accounting. I got this job 3 months ago, so I was very honored and excited about this work. And what I do in this job is to process admissions and do credential evaluations for the prospective students. I also do some billing operations. I help the supervisors to make decisions by doing some steps assigned. That's pretty much about that. And I also do some recruitment initiatives to get our university more popular.
Okay. So how did you find this job, and what was the process like when you were applying for it? Any challenges?
I was lucky. I came to United States like 3.5 years ago, and then I graduated in the undergraduate school, and I came to the Binghamton University. Actually, I came here in August, 1 month before the semester starts. So at that time, my husband and I were kind of looking for jobs, so we thought we were early birds. So we looked up some jobs online, especially the Binghamton website. And then there is very corner, there is a graduate student internship, something. So I just clicked in and I realized that there are 2 positions available. One is the mission support and one is data analysis, something like that. So I think I could do this because I had the experience before in the undergraduate school. So I just applied. I hope I could do that. And luckily they sent me the email saying that they would like to have an interview with me. But it was like 3-4 months after I applied. And I was surprised. I thought I have been rejected actually. And then they called me, so I just went there for the interview. Many of my classmates were shocked that I got an interview because actually I was shocked too, but because I thought it was done. The position has been filled, but it wasn't. So the suggestion to the students who want to look for a job, I would just say sometimes you may not know what will happen. Just keep searching, and someday you will get a call and get surprised. Oh, somebody want me.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the tip. And so I was a little curious about like how your working environment is like. What is your like relationship with your peers and your boss?
Actually, this is my first workplace experience. When I was a rookie in the office, I was very nervous. As many people, I think everyone was very nervous when they went to the office for first day. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what exact job I would do. I even asked my kind of supervisor, do you want a coffee or something? I can buy a coffee. She's like, no, you don't need to worry about that. And then you just, whenever you have questions, just let me know. So I think for that, I think I have a really good peers, very good team and supervisors. When I have questions, I never hesitate to ask questions. I want to know what I need to do exactly. I don't want to make a mistake and then later on they realize it's wrong and they need to start over. So and then they also welcome me to bug them all the time. I think they're very nice, and my team, my peers, they have been in my shoes before, so they know me. They guess what kind of questions I might have. They even approach to me first, and then, oh, do you know what to do? It's like, yes, I need your help, something. So I think I'm very lucky to have the peers, and they are all GAs. We're at the same age. It's very good for us to communicate, and the way sometimes we talk about some news, something hot recently, is very good.
That sounds great.
Right.
So I know you're married, and you're having, I guess, a pretty busy personal life too.
Right.
Also, you have to like go to school full time, to go to all the classes. Do you ever feel the struggle about all this stuff that's going on?
Yes, I do. Before I went to the interview, I didn't know I would work 20 hours per week. It was a very heavy workload for a full-time student. I was the transition was, I was overwhelmed because of that. But it's like this. It's a trade-off. You get something, you have to give up something.
Right.
Yeah. So I watch less movies, sleep less, do more jobs at night, and then save some time for the day work. And it so far it's pretty good, and I'm used to that. It's just a transition. The time will give you the answer and how to do that. It's very tired, and sometimes you may have struggle why everybody goes out for a movie, but I have to stay here to study. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And do you feel like it's going to be a good experience to try and get a full-time job after you graduate?
Yes, I do think so. People will think you have time management skill first, and you have workplace experience, and then you may know how to deal with the relationship with your peers and the supervisors. I think it's very helpful.
So it sounds like you're very satisfied.
Right.
Have you found there are certain actions other schools are taking that are better than what we have here? Or are there other actions they take that are worse? What's going on with other schools compared to us here?
First, I'm very proud of SOM Career Center Service. They are very nice, and I can feel our students, our school are well respected by the professionals, employers in the field. I think that's what we have, but many other schools, even better schools, they don't have. I mean, better. I mean, in the higher place in the ranking. But I have some friends studying that kind of school, but they say our SOM Career Service Center is very crazy, and the students it pushes the students in a positive way. It makes the student to work hard, and the environment for the students very aggressive sometimes, but it's very positive. It may push the students to look for jobs for themselves. That's not many schools have. And for something we may need to improve, maybe as a Chinese student, I think in China, Binghamton University is not that, the name is not very widely known by the students, especially the accounting major. It's very good major, and it's in the very top in the ranking for this particular major. But many students, they don't know this. But students who have studied here in the United States for years, they know Binghamton University is a very excellent school. But in China or in many other countries, they might haven't know that. Yeah, so I think that's what the thing we may need to improve more, like more recruitment initiatives in other countries. And that's what we are working on actually. My supervisor is going to China 2 days later, and she will go to Shanghai, Beijing, and many other cities to do the recruitment to get us more noticed.
Hello everyone, we are filming with Alyssa, our GSO treasurer today. And Alyssa, as we understand it, you have had multiple jobs that we are excited to hear about. Can you tell us about your work experiences here at Binghamton University?
Yes, so I've been here, this is my 6th year here. When I first started, I was working in the lab of one of my professors, and I also started working at the library at the same time. That's Bartlett Library. And I did that for a couple years, and then I worked as a GA for a semester. After that, I worked as an RA for a semester. And then I worked actually over that following summer in the library annex in Conklin. So I've worked in several different parts of the library here. Following that, I worked at I was a TA for a semester. And then I worked as an AmeriCorps member off campus. At that same time, I also had started teaching yoga off campus. I continued to teach yoga the following year as I did another TA session, or actually 2 semesters I TA'd, one in my department, one outside my department. And then this year, I've been continuing to teach yoga off campus, teaching yoga on campus, and I'm also the GSO treasurer. So most semesters, I have been working at least 2 jobs, sometimes 3. A couple semesters I was down at 1, but I've always had some kind of job that I've been working. So.
How do you balance having 2 jobs plus an academic life and even a social life if possible?
Well, since I'm in my 6th year, one might say not very well. I don't know, sometimes I just feel like I don't sleep a lot and just trying to fit everything in. My main priorities are usually balancing just the academics and the working. To me, those are the 2 main requirements. Things like social life, my family, which is also very important to me. I try to almost kind of fit in when I can. Fortunately, I think my friends are largely graduate students as well, and they understand. So, but yeah, just kind of figure out what's the most important, and then just fit everything else in when you can. So,
what have you really enjoyed about your work experiences here?
I like the variety of things I've been able to do. Between working in different departments with different groups of people, and just expanding my skill base. That's, for me, that's important because I don't plan to go into academia. I don't plan to teach when I finish my PhD. So being able to say, yes, I can do all these things other than just TAing. Not that TAing is not valuable. I've done it myself, and there are a lot of different skills other than just strictly teaching that you use in TAing. But really having this greater base of experiences that I can draw from. To me, that's really important.
What was negative in your experiences and that you would recommend for change?
In most graduate students, in whatever position they're in, we tend to be hired for 20-hour-a-week jobs. But we're, one, not paid that in a way that represents the 20 hours of work that we're supposed to be doing. You know, in my department is kind of average in the way we get paid, and we get paid $75 a semester, or $7,500 a semester. I know a lot of the GA shifts that you get outside of the department, or that you get through the graduate school, they're paying less than $10,000 an academic year, and that usually does not include a tuition scholarship. That's not a lot. That's really difficult to live off of. And we're expected to work 20 hours a week, and also put in, if you're registered for 1 credit, you're supposed to be putting in 32 hours of work a week towards your project, your research. That's kind of unrealistic, especially since a lot of graduate students have families that they're taking care of, are responsible for other people. And realistically, we tend not to be working just that 20 hours. I've clocked my hours for a lot of the jobs I've done, and unless I'm on an hourly basis, I'm usually working more than I'm actually contracted to do. And some of that could be me, the way I like to do things very precise, but I find that talking to a lot of other graduate students, they're having the same problems, that they're working a lot more than they feel they're actually expected to, in writing, expected to be doing.
You were mentioning earlier about the university attracting new students. What would you recommend for a new student knowing about employments on campus, a new and prospective student before being admitted? What do you think that the university can do, the information you wish you knew before being admitted here?
I wish I knew that, you know, some departments say, like, you'll get 3 years funding. That doesn't mean necessarily 3 consecutive full years. It could be 6 semesters over 4 years or 5 years. I wish sometimes that was more clear, either from the department, maybe or the university. But I think just being able to talk to other graduate students and having them tell their true story and say, yeah, when the department tells you this, that's not quite accurate. You're probably not going to graduate in 5 years unless you're an engineer. In the humanities and the social sciences and the sciences, you're probably not going to graduate in 5 years. You're going to take a little bit longer. And that's not that that's bad, just being realistic about it. yeah, I just wish I had been able to talk to some other graduates, and that they were honest with me too. And granted, things change, and when I'm talking with students who are currently in their 5th year, if you're just coming in, it's going to be a little bit different. Things are going to be adjusting. But I try to do this with students who are incoming now, talking to them, trying to make sure they understand it's probably not going to be ideal. Most of us are not the perfect ideal students, and things aren't going to necessarily work just how you want them to. And be okay with that.
Anything else you want to add before we close our conversation?
Not that I can think of. I think that if the university wants to be increasing the number of graduate students and attracting graduate students to the university, as they've said that they want to do, it's very important to make graduate students want to come here. So that means making sure that we're getting paid and getting appropriate benefits, and that the importance is on our academics, so that we are comfortable in getting paid and how much we're getting paid, so that we can focus on the academics and we can get through here in a reasonable amount of time. The faster we get through here, the better it looks for the university.
We hope you can benefit the most from your work experience in BU.
Contact us if you have any concerns about working conditions.
Give us a shout at the email below and we will be there for you.
Thank you for joining in this video on Binghamton graduate student working life and watching it.